Welcome back to the Slide Job Podcast. My name is Joshua Northcutt, and joining me today is the co-host, Bull Davis. Or Brandon. I just know him as Bull. Bull, how's it all going, buddy?
Good. How are you, man?
Not too bad. Excited to talk a little bit of Nashville. As you know, one of my favorite drivers found the way to victory lane, as we kind of predicted a few weeks back that the luck would turn, and it only took about 2 weeks since we said it for it to happen.
Yeah. 2 weeks after couple weeks after the All Star break, he finally catches a break at a track that he's normally not too good at.
Yeah, which has got to be very, very scary for the rest of the field. And we'll talk about that. But obviously, we're talking about Ryan Blaney. The luck has not been there all year for the man, but everything turned around. So if you're cool with the Bull, I'm going to go a little bit into the recap, and then we can talk about your thoughts.
Yeah, let's get into it.
All right, so Chase Briscoe started out on the pole yet again. Wasn't there long. AJ Allmendinger served a penalty, had to go to the back. Lap 3, Kyle Larson shuffled all the way to the back to 36 after a turn 1 contact. And then about lap 58, Blaney extends the tires. Absolutely impressive, running his fastest laps before pitting. It was one of those, was he going to pit? Was he not going to pit? Everybody was pitting a little bit earlier. I believe Larson was the first one to pit and kind of threw everybody's timing off of, okay, we need to come sooner. We need to come sooner. And Ryan Blaney in that fast car was like, we can wait a little bit. Fast forward to lap 90, Denny Hamlin won stage 1. Tyler Reddick finished second. Denny had a fast car. However, again, some tough luck for Denny. Later on at lap 106, Carson Hocevar spins Ricky Stenhouse, bringing out a caution. We're sure to talk about that as, trouble continues to fall. Carson Hocevar, and we know Bull doesn't like that too much. Lap 113, Bowman and Gregson crash. Major damage was caused. Lap 119, Christopher Bell crashes after contact with Eric Jones. Not going to be the last you hear of Christopher Bell, though. Lap 152, Kyle Larson cracks the top 20. Despite falling all the way back, that car was fast. Kyle Larson was able to drive through traffic very, very impressively. Lap 175, Hocevar and Zane Smith entered the top 10 in stage 2. So despite the actions, two names that we're not used to seeing up front found a way up there. But when it was all said and done, Blaney dominated stage 2 and was able to bring home the stage victory. Pit cycle drama occurred through 243 and 270. Hocevar pitted early. Hamlin loses some time. Blaney reclaims the lead. Lap 280, Blaney stabilizes a 2.5 second lead with 20 to go and kind of coast, holding off Hocevar towards the end. However, Bull can probably contest to this as well. If there would have been any kind of caution, Blaney would have been in trouble because Hocevar was showing speed. Hamlin was right there. It's just the gap was too big after the pit stops. Carson Hocevar ended up career best second place finish, followed by Denny Hamlin, Joey Logano, William Byron, Bubba Wallace, who went from last place all the way up to a top 10 finish. One of the best driving he's done all year. It was good to see his turnaround. Eric Jones, a name we don't see too often, Kyle Larson, Tyler Reddick, and somehow, someway, even despite the accident, Christopher Bell comes in 10th. I don't know how he keeps doing it, but he keeps rattling off these top 10s. And then we joked last week that, Chase Elliott's one of those, like you turn on the TV and it's like Chase hasn't been there all day and he ends up in the top 10. Nah, that's been Christopher Bell. Haven't seen him really dominating a race or winning a race since he won those 3 in a row, but another top 10. Again, as I mentioned, Kyle Larson battled the issues, finished 8th. Tyler Reddick was able to rebound, finish 9th. It's a very nice day for 23-11, which early in the race it did not look like. And also, for despite what could have been a questionable race of how entertaining it was, and we can talk about that as well, Nashville had a sold-out crowd. And that is back-to-back weeks that NASCAR has had to sell out on Sundays. It's amazing what happens in the primetime slot and people loving nighttime racing. Just throwing it out there. Bull, what's your thoughts on the race?
So I said it in our group chat. I don't know what to think of the race. There was a few good parts, but most of the race was boring. I I still thought the coverage made it interesting. Amazon did another fantastic job. I love the broadcast crew, and which made it still made me want to watch. But all in all, I thought the race was okay. It wasn't want to tune in, make keep you on the edge of your seat. Uh, but a couple things that you mentioned, Blaney he was in trouble there at the end. He couldn't get through lap traffic.
Hmm.
Just tires were they created a new left side tire for this race that was supposed to create tire wear. Good job, Goodyear. You failed again. Um, and I think it was stage one when Blaney ran long. Then when Hamlin and those guys pit and Blaney ran long, he was running faster lap time on 70 lap older tires than the guys with fresher tires and was extending the lead. Why wouldn't you run long and
Yeah.
change the strategy? I mean, Larson Larson running in 35th, be the first one down pit road, still scares the leaders running 35th and draws everybody down pit road early.
Yep.
I mean,
It's pretty impressive though, like how much fear that car brings in a lot of people, and how serious people take him. Because I mean, they should. As I mentioned, he was able to work his way back into a top 10 finish, his 10th on the season. It was a hell of a driving.
yeah, like you mentioned, also a couple guys, Bubba Wallace. Last week we talked about either a top 10 or a DNF. I thought this week was going to be another DNF. He was running back there in 35th after two penalties. I was listening to his scanner on the NASCAR app. By the way, if you're not doing that, I highly recommend, even if you're not, just listen to your favorite driver. It is highly entertaining just listening to that along with the race. Adds a totally new aspect. But he kept saying, if we can just catch a break, we have the best car. He was just thrilled about the car. Just needed that break, get the lucky dog. He finally got it, and then look what he done. Drove up to sixth place.
And he even kind of talked
Um,
about it after after the race. I mean, we can, well, Colton emphasized it, but we can emphasize it again. He posted on Twitter. This is why we need a post race show. That was fantastic. That interview with Bubba, getting to see a little bit of his personality, also just to see what like a race does to a human, like because he was worn out. Like the driving he had to do yesterday was absolutely impressive. Very well done, and all the haters can suck it for at least 1 week.
I mean, he started the interview with "Holy crap, I'm whooped."
Yep.
May have used a different language, but
You know, he's allowed. He's on Amazon. Uh,
but
but go ahead.
speaking of that, real quick, Corey LaJoy, he is made for that show. I know he got a lot of crap when he was in the car last couple of years, but that is his. He is made for that show right there.
Yeah, no, his personality was showing a little bit, and then just like afterwards, they were kind of talking about it, and it seems like well, him and Bubba have a good friendship, so they played off each other very well. Um, but yeah, no, I definitely agree. This is a side of LaJoy that I did not expect to see, or one that I thought we would see, but turns out we do. And yet again, thank you, Amazon, for giving us this opportunity. And whoever saw that in LaJoy, I thank them as well. It's been excellent 2 weeks. Like you mentioned, the racing wasn't the best. I don't know how to feel about it. There was some moments good, other moments bad. It wasn't the worst race of the year, but the fact that the announcers and just Amazon package as a whole was able to keep you entertained was awesome.
Yeah, that's what kept me in watching. That broadcast crew. I mean, being able to watch all the green flag races, being able to watch all the green flag laps. I mean, that's what keeps you into the race, and not missing any laps. They brought you. They I know the burn bar on Twitter. If you look at that, a lot of people were dogging that. I mean, just little things like that that they're trying to implement and show into the broadcast just brings to a whole new level. Added new coverage. To me, it's all interesting, just different aspects and views that they have.
No doubt. Running through the final standings of everything, just to point out some other drivers. Ross Chastain, after the win last week, ended up finishing 11th, was passed by Christopher Bell on the last lap to lose his top 10. Christopher Buescher, good showing, 14th. Mentioned Chase Elliott, ended up 15th. Pole sitter Chase Briscoe ended up 17th. But one guy I have to mention, obviously Brad Kay, finishing 23rd. We talked off air, got tangled up in some mess, but he was able to get into the little mid-season tournament that we're going to have. He is the 32nd driver, so it'll be interested to see what happens there over the next 3 weeks. But I don't know if you've seen like gambling Twitter of NASCAR, but this week they posted a Cody Ware JJ Yeley bet. Cody Ware 33rd, JJ Yeley 34th. Everybody in like NASCAR community was betting Cody Ware. So just following those tweets online, never in a million years did I think I'd be caring about those two drivers in 2025. But man, oh man, did all of NASCAR gambling care. And last place, first DNF of the year, the Northcutt Jinx strikes again, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. I mean, I literally that day I was talking to one of my brother's buddies, and we were just sitting there bullcrapping because he's a NASCAR fan too. And I was like, they showed Stenhouse, and I was just like, man, he's had a hell of a year, no DNFs. He's like, that's been his goal, just keep finishing races and see what happens. And sure enough, 15 minutes later, that incident happens. He just turns to me and he goes, "You see what you did there, right?" And I was like, "Yeah, that's what I do. That's called the Northcutt Jinx." But if
And
you don't
I
got
think
anything,
that was actually
go ahead, Bull.
I think that was actually his first finish outside of the top 25 even.
I mean, he's had such a good year, and unfortunately now, due to that DNF, he has fallen out of the top 16. If you don't have anything, since it's the beginning of the month, I'm going to recap just where the standings are right now. But you got any other thoughts on that show?
Yeah, one more thing I want to mention. We kind of mentioned it, Carson Hocevar with the second place finish. Last week in the Coke 600, he showed that speed as well. If it wasn't for the blown engine, he had a chance to win that race as well. The last couple weeks, that team has found some serious speed, and I think he's going to be a contender to watch out the next couple weeks. They're not qualifying the best. He's finding the speed in practice and in the race. If he can put together a decent qualifying effort, they're going to be one to watch out for. And I wouldn't be surprised if he has a great showing at Michigan next week.
I don't disagree at all. It's been an absolute excellent performance from him, and one to follow. However, there was some heat, obviously, because he got into an incident with Stenhouse, and Stenhouse said he'll handle it at a later date. We all know younger Ricky probably would have handled it at that point, so it's interesting to see how he will handle it at a later date. But we'll talk about that coming up here on Fly to Flag. But first, just taking a look at the standings. William Byron still in first by 48 points now over Kyle Larson, followed by Christopher Bell, Denny Hamlin, Chase Elliott, the highest ranked driver currently without a win. Sixth, Tyler Reddick. Seventh, Ryan Blaney. Eighth, Joey Logano. Bull got us all scared. He was talking in the group chat that Logano was going to luck him to a win. The rain was going to start. Man, oh man, that would have sent Colton into a frenzy. Ninth, Ross Chastain. 10th, Bubba Wallace. 11th, Chase Briscoe. 12th, Alex Bowman. Things have kind of got quiet over there on the 48. Another tough race for him. 13th, Austin Cindric. 14th, Chris Buescher after he has received all his points back. 15th, Kyle Busch. 16th, Ryan Preece. However, Preece will currently be out due to the Josh Berry victory. So technically, I guess you could say Berry's holding the 16th spot or Busch is holding the 16th, depending how you want to rank everything. But It's still a close battle. Only 2 points decide between Priest and Bush. 8 points decide between Busher and Priest, and 14 points decide between Cindric, who's got the win already. But then there's a pretty big gap of Bowman. So you're probably looking at a Busher, Bush, Priest kind of battle. Hocevar, as you mentioned, is right there. He's only 2 points behind Priest. Stenhouse is only 4 points. AJ Allmendinger, only 5 points. And then Michael McDowell, just hanging around, only 11 points back. So still plenty of time to go. And as I mentioned, with Brad getting that last spot, we're now in. How would you describe it, Bull? The next 3 weeks is like the basic qualifying for the tournament. All 32 are in. It's just pending now seeding.
Yeah, so the way that I understand it is they took the regular season point standings from the beginning of the season till now, and the top 32 drivers qualify, and then maybe take it in categories like pool play, and like a baseball tournament. Uh, the next 3 weeks determine your seeding for the actual tournament that will begin 4 weeks from now.
Mm.
So basically, no matter if you're 32nd like Brad K, depends on how you run the next 3 weeks. He could be a 6 seed, for instance, in the tournament. The way that I understand it.
Gotcha. And the next three coming up are Michigan this weekend, Pocono, and then Atlanta, with Chicago Street Race being the first of the tournament. So a little road racing. I believe. Am I correct when I say Michigan's a 1.5? Is that
It
accurate?
is.
It is.
Yeah,
And then
it's an
okay.
intermediate, but I think it actually might be like a little bit bigger than a 1.5, but it's around that same. It's in that same category.
And then, like as we've been talking, the craziness that is going to be Mexico City, and trying to figure out what is all going to be going on there. Ironically enough, I'm going to be in Mexico that weekend, but I'm going to be in Cancun enjoying the sun and the beach. But if you're ready, we'll go ahead and fly the flag. I got 3 questions for you today.
Yeah,
All right. So the first one, we mentioned this playoff series, and we talked about how the next three races will decide the seeding. Bull, red, green, yellow. The seeding is stupid, being decided over 3 weeks rather than the entire season.
I'm gonna go yellow. I don't really care. I think it's just I just think it's a good idea that they're doing it, just to add more interest into the sport during the middle of the season. So however they want to do it, if they want to do what I mean, I know it's kind of a gimmick, but just to add, keep the gimmicks off the track, keep the keep the gimmicks off the track. If they want to do it like this, that's fine. But I think it will add extra interest going forward for the next however long. But I do think that Chicago Street Course is definitely going to be a bracket buster. Week the first round.
That'll definitely be interesting to see because I mean you've talked about it and you keep pounding the desk off air and you've mentioned it many times. If for some reason SVG can't win Chicago or can't win Mexico City, that seat's got to be getting hot. As for the question, green, yellow, red on how they're deciding everything, originally I was the whole green flag. I think it's stupid, but I think you're right. It's more yellow. It's not affecting anything. The drivers are still going to go head to head. 3 weeks might decide that, but it's no different than like the NBA play-in. It's still counting towards the regular season, but also this postseason championship or mid-season championship. And you got to think that some of these drivers who don't have championship hopes, such as a John Hunter Nemechek or an Eric Jones, a Zane Smith, an Austin Dillon kind of driver, um, they could just turn around and be like, screw it. Let's just go win this midseason tournament. Let's go
I
all
mean,
out for these next 4 weeks and win this darn thing.
just take for instance, say you get a John Hunter Nemechek, Denny Hamlin first round matchup at Chicago Street Course. I mean, Denny's not the best at road courses.
Yeah.
He's gotten a little better, but that's gonna be that's gonna be more TV drama that's gonna add to the coverage. I think it's a great call overall, but I do think the seating. I mean, it's stupid, but it doesn't affect anything.
I will say I'm fully prepared for a Denny Hamlin. Is SVG in the tournament or did he miss it?
He
You're lucky.
missed it.
SVG just missed it. I was gonna say you knew you were gonna get that Denny Hamlin SVG round one matchup, and you were gonna be pissed. Karma was gonna get you, but you lucked
And then it
out.
was gonna, and then it was gonna be me and Ben going head to head.
Yeah, that would have been hilarious. All right, so the second question. Obviously, we talked about Hocevar Stenhouse incident. Hocevar, according to Dale Earnhardt Jr., ran through Ricky Stenhouse. So bull, green, yellow, red. Uh, wow. Carson Hocevar is the new bad boy on the track.
So, Josh, this is gonna surprise you. I'm gonna go red. I don't think Hocevar did anything wrong. I'm gonna disagree with Dale. I'm gonna disagree with Twitter. I think Hocevar was there and Stenhouse came down. I think Hocevar was going under, and he had the pass. So I don't think Hocevar did anything wrong in this situation.
That is not what I expected to hear, and I'm going to go ahead and say Green Hocevar is the new bad boy, but I think he's just going to buy into the image. I don't know if you saw after the race though, Chad Knaus came over, congratulated him on his second place finish. You know Hendricks is keeping an eye on him and his performance. Could the
That
48 be in his future? It's food for thought. Just food for thought. I think there's a legit chance we could see him in the 48 a lot sooner than later. Sorry, Chenry. Please don't be mad at us. And the last question, as we talked about it already, Ryan Blaney finally gets to victory lane. Ryan Blaney has shown speed all year, championship speed, but the bad luck. So, Bull, Ryan Blaney is now officially the driver to beat in NASCAR.
I'm I'm gonna go yellow. Um, I still think he's had the speed, but when it comes to playoffs, he doesn't have the playoff points currently that Bell, Larson, Hamlin's got. So he does have the speed. I think he needs to show he needs to get more playoff points. I still think he could get there in the final four, but there's still numerous other drivers that are still showing speed. You can't leave the five out. Um, you can't leave out Byron, that's led over 500 laps in two races. Hamlin and Bell with 3 wins. So there's still quite a few drivers who have having great years. So I don't think you can really single out one particular driver.
I'm throwing the green flag. The last I checked, the race is at Phoenix. Penske dominates it. Kyle Larson himself said his back's against the wall when he goes there. And Ryan Blaney drives for Penske. I think the 12 has shown the speed. I predicted it 2, 3 weeks ago. He was going to be Bell or Larson's biggest competition. And getting a win 2 weeks in, as long as luck is on his side, God forbid it's not, but as long as luck is on his side, at least one Penske car will get to the Final Four, as they always do. It will be Ryan Blaney, and he is again now officially the driver to beat.
I will.
Already, Bull.
The only thing,
Go ahead.
the only caveat I'm going to add to that, pit qualifying is very big at Phoenix. Getting that number one pit stall. Blaney's pit crew has been very bad. So I don't know if that pit stall selection would be as big of a deal for him. Well, it would be very big of a deal for him. It would help in the long run with him getting that number one pit stall as bad as his pit crew has been.
Well, they mentioned it in the last race. A few weeks ago, they changed pit teams. He got a new pit crew, and since then, they've been top five. They mentioned it on the broadcast. So it is getting a little bit better there. I don't know whose pit crew he got or what all changed exactly, but I know during the broadcast they mentioned that Blaney's pit crew was one really good yesterday, and then two has been better since the change. But obviously, pit crews definitely matter no matter where you go, and that pit stall qualifying anytime uh, that occurs, it is key to get the best possibility, especially if you're a guy going against someone like Larson or Bell, or God forbid Denny Hamlin gets to the round of four and is a race away from winning a championship. You don't think that man's going to be going crazy and trying to get that pit stall? Uh, but we all know that's not going to happen. Denny will Denny everything like he always does. Sorry, Bull.
We got the baby narrative for Denny now. He's winning it this year.
That is fair. He almost missed yesterday's race. Hoping the baby would come, but it held off. So I'm assuming his child will be here sometime this week. And congratulations on that. As it's helped Bubba apparently. Bubba mentioned in the post race that becoming a dad just changes everything when driving, and just kind of like puts him out to like what he really does, if that makes sense. Like it's just a race. Like it's his job, but the most important thing he does is he's a father now, and that's why just another reason why I love Bubba. But Bull, if you want, you can start with your power rankings, or I can before we wrap things up.
Yeah, yeah. I'll start. So at number five, it feels weird putting this guy at number five. Uh, I'm gonna go with William Byron. He's having having a great year. As I just mentioned, uh, two races this year. He has led over 500 laps in two races. But
Zero wins to show for it, though.
but there's a couple guys that are having a better year than he is. Number four, a guy with three wins, Denny Hamlin at number four. Um, Still rattled off a third place finish yesterday, but before that, the three races before that had two DNFs, and then a just absolute cluster at the All Star race. At number three, yesterday's winner, Ryan Blaney. Mentioned he's had speed every race this year, just had bad luck. But if when he's not had DNF, he's been in contention for every win this year. And number two, a guy we've talked about that's just been hanging around, had the three wins in a row. Christopher Bell had three wins in a row earlier this year, and he's just hanging around, salvaging top five, top 10 finishes. I don't know how he got a top 10 finish yesterday.
No idea.
Slammed the wall, went to the pits. I thought he was going to the garage. Next thing I know, he's passing Larson for 17th place on his way back up to a top 10. And then number one, I've still got to leave him there, Kyle Larson. I still think he's the best one out there. Even yesterday, his car was crap. Still kept working on it and still managed to salvage a top 10 finish. I still think he's number one.
I mean, that's fair. Mine's a little bit different, so I'll go ahead and start. Number five, welcome up there, Ryan Blaney. I don't know. I know wins aren't supposed to matter anything, and Colton wants it more than just wins. But getting that win, getting that confidence, and you even heard him talk after the race. He made the comment like, "I knew it was going to eventually happen. I've never lost faith in this team, never lost faith in this driving." So him picking up win number one, and just all the speed that he's shown all year, he enters number five. Number four, I'm going to go Denny Hamlin. As you mentioned, some bad luck, but some good luck. However, the last two races, he arguably could have won if not for some unfortunate situations down on pit road lane, not getting fuel filled, and then just a slow stop. Number three, I'm going to go William Byron. And 3, 2, and 1 keep changing for me literally by the minute. 5 minutes from now, I could tell you William Byron is my number one. But right now, he's my number three because he doesn't have as many wins as the other two guys. Also doesn't have as many top tens. And he trails another driver in the top five department. Number two, Christopher Bell. Those 3 wins in a row are very impressive. Rattling off top tens like it's his job, which it is arguably. He's got 10 top tens now on the year and 14 starts. Number one, though, it's Kyle Larson. Still the baddest man on the track. How he went from last place, hitting the wall, to a top 10 finish, I'll have no idea. But the man literally changed the entire race yesterday by pitting early, made everybody flustered. Only one dude can do that, and that's Kyle Larson. I did find this very interesting just looking at the stats, though. So, obviously, through 14 races, Larson and Bell both have 3 wins, 10 top 10s, 2 DNFs. However, Larson has 8 top 5s, Bell has 6, and then the biggest gap, Larson has led 851 laps this season to Christopher Bell's 147.
Well, that helps when you lead 500 laps at Bristol.
Also true. Also true. But even if you take out Bristol, I mean, he's still almost double the lead laps that Christopher Bell has had all year. I don't know. It's going to be a fun second half. It's been a fun 2 races. I'm already going to miss Amazon when it's gone. Hopefully, TNT and USA can pick up the slack and keep carrying the momentum into the second season. Obviously, looking forward to this little mini tournament and see how the seedings fall into place over the next 3 weeks. As Colton has mentioned on the other podcast, we will for sure have some kind of bracket get together show. Me, Bull, Ben, and Colton all will be on that one. So Lord knows the lags are going to be unbelievable on both sides of the department. 4 people in a room, he may just crash his entire computer. But Bull, you got anything else?
No, I think I'm good. I think we covered it.
All right. Well, as always, I'm Joshua Northcutt. You can find me at jnorth1989. Bull is at bull_81818.
That's right.
I got it. We're all now part of the CX Podcast Network. You can find us all on there. Obviously, you're watching via Left Turn Central. And hopefully, if I can get everything set up correctly today, you're now going to be able to listen to us on all podcasts, whether it's Spotify, Apple, basically everything that's affiliated with RSS Network. We've joined that little membership and are now able to bring it to you via audio as well, because I know some people don't like YouTube just because the video, it slows down when you close it if you don't pay for Pro and whatnot. So looking forward to a lot more changes that we have going. Colton should be back on Friday with me and Ben. Bull, next week I'll probably going to need you to step in for me because I'll be a few drinks deep in Mexico City, in Cancun, Mexico on Friday. But we can talk about that a little bit later. So with that said, we'll go ahead and wrap everything up. Thanks again for listening, and until next time, peace.